The first stage of sculpting is the creepy stage. The creepier she is, the better your sculpt will look at the end. Trust me. I'll start by shaping her face for an egg-shaped head, paying attention to all sides as I move it around. I'll add a sphere, scale it, and place it for her neck. I'll add another sphere, place it to the side, mirror it, and push it inwards for her ears. I'll carve in her eye sockets, draw her a button nose, refine her brows, then carve her the creepiest smile ever. Remember, the creepier, the better. I'll add a sphere, place it in her eye sockets, and mirror it. I'll carve in some space for her eyes and slightly sculpt her eyelids. I'll carve in her nostrils and improve the face a bit by making her creepier. It's a real thing now. I'll grab polygons from her eyes, add a black color for the pupils and a blue one for the iris. I use a vertex with the snap tool on and extrude it to model her eyebrows, and then I'll apply a reddish color to it. In a similar manner, I will extrude vertices to model her upper eyelashes and the bottom ones. Then I'll make her pupils smaller. I'll now add a sphere, place it, apply a reddish color, then sculpt it around her head. I'll sculpt the ears a bit more, keeping it simple, then go ahead and make her eyes creepier. Nice. With a curve, I'll add her first hair strand. I'll place it, move the points around to shape it, then I'll duplicate it, and do the same for a few hair strands to cover the front part of her head. I'll now use a plane with the length of her head, duplicate it 7 times for a 7-head figure as a nice guideline for her proportions. I'll add a new sphere for her torso, place and scale it. I'll duplicate it for her hips, then create a new sphere for her arms, place and mirror that sphere. I'll duplicate it for her hands, then I'll grab and scale the sphere for her upper arms and use that for her forearms as well. I'll duplicate the hands to create her first finger, shape the base of her hand, place her index finger, then duplicate it till she has a total of 4. I'll also duplicate her index finger for her thumbs and sculpt it a bit. I'll go ahead and move all the body parts around, shaping and improving her primary shapes. I'll then merge her torso to her hips and start working on her anatomy, sculpting bones, muscles, and fat while keeping it simple for now. I'll add a new sphere and place it for her mermaid tail. I'll give it a green color, pull it down a bit, then I'll add this upper part of her tail. I'll sculpt her some abs because nice. Then I'll refine her body a bit more, merge the fingers to her hands, and smooth things out. I will now add her impenetrable armor by using a vertex and extruding it around her body, just like how I did with the eyebrows. I'll start adding her longer hair strands by duplicating the curves and moving the points around. I have some big plans for her hair later on, so for now I'll keep it rough and simple. I'll create a new curve, and similar to how I made the hair, I will move the points and scale them to create the rest of the tail. I'll then create a plane and model it to create her fins, keeping the shapes as simple as possible for now. The second stage is about posing Little Mermaid here to be camera ready. I'll first add an armature, scale it up to fit her proportions, delete the unnecessary leg bones, rotate the arm bones to fit her current pose, delete more bones, place more bones, generate a rig, and then link her to it with the lazy automatic rigging. I'll make sure it works. Cool. Then I'll start posing her. I'll move them hips, move them shoulders, place her left arm, raise her right arm, make her look into the horizon, and place her tail point to fit her new pose. I'll add a cube for the rock she'll be sitting on, give it a subdivision modifier, and model it as a simple shape for now. I'll continue posing her till satisfied, then I'll add and place a camera. I'll finish off with the second stage by rotating her eyes with the shape keys. Stage 3 is PostPose Refinement, which is fixing and improving the deformed forms caused by her new pose. I'll start by scaling some areas that were squashed and stretched by the pose, and then I'll create a cube and model the tail so that I can sculpt it and have a better control of the form. I'll add more hair strands and move them around, making them interact with her hands and pose. I'll adjust her fingers to interact with the rock, then I'll give the rock a quick sculpt, keeping it simple for now. I'll go back to her body, fix and improve the forms and anatomy to match her new pose, indicating bones, muscles, skin, and fat being squashed by her pose. I'll make sure to go over her joints and areas of contact to improve the sculpt on these parts as well. It is time to make her 110% cooler. Stage 4 is all about fixing her face. I'll remove the shape keys from her eyes for a neutral look, make her eyes smaller, play around with the shape of her iris and pupils, and continue to sculpt and refine the area around her eyes to fit the new changes. I'll readjust the eyebrows and eyelashes to follow the changes I did, and make her pupils even smaller. With quad remeasure, I'll give her a quick retopology, rotate her eyes back, and refine the sculpt further till satisfied. With the new and improved face having smaller features, her current hair is giving her a huge head. So I'll remove some, modify the shape of others, and add new ones. I'll keep at it for a bit, add some nice twists and some cool hair shapes till it looks decent. Nice. Stage 5 is all about making her 120% cooler. I'll start by adding details to her impenetrable armor with some basic modeling. I'll grab some edge loops, bevel them, grab some pulley loops and extrude them. I'll also add some straps for her impenetrable armor. Cool. I'll model the upper part of her tail using a plane and extruding the vertices, wrapping it around her form. I'll readjust the form of her tail, making it bigger with a nicer curve. I'll now duplicate the rock, grab the lower polygons, pull them down, and shape the primary block out of the rock. I'll then create a new cube, reinforce the edges with edge loop cuts, then sculpt it to roughly resemble a rock. I'll then duplicate it, place the new rock, sculpt it again, and repeat the process a few times till I fill the primary rock shape with a bunch of rocks. I will then join all of the rocks together and merge them. This is a nice simple way to give it a bunch of random shapes and details in a short amount of time. I'll refine some edges here and there, then I'll add more hair strands, more twists, wrapping her hair around her tail, the rock, and improving the overall coolness of the sculpt, officially making her 120% cooler. Stage 6 is all about showing your rock sculpting skills. Sadly, I don't have that, but let's just say I do. I'll use a few modified cubes to add some cuts with the rocks using the Boolean modifier. I'll then start scraping the edges randomly, with purpose, because I know what I'm doing. I'll even add more cubes and sculpt them into rocks to add more details and make it look cooler. I'll move the different pieces of rocks to overlap each other, then continue to refine the edges and create some nice plane changes. I'll grab this bigger rock piece and with 100% purpose, I'll choose exactly where I scrape and sculpt different parts. Nothing is random here, it is 200% planned. I'll continue to masterly sculpt the rest of the rock with intention, purpose, and execution. Then I'll add a few small rocks here and there and finish things up. You can now call me the Rock Master, Mr. Rock Sculptor, the Rock Sculptor. Yes, cool. Stage 7 is all about pimping your rock. I'll extrude some vertices to make the shape of a starfish and then fill it up. I'll quickly sculpt it by adding some volume, then I'll give the little mermaid here a hairpin. I'll also duplicate it to add a starfish to the rock. I'll place it, change its form to follow the shape of the rock, give it a red color, then duplicate it a few more times and place them all over. I'll then use a curve to create some plants similar to how I made the little mermaid's hair. I'll place the points, duplicate the leaf, then rinse and repeat till I have a bunch of them. I'll duplicate the plant, place it at another part of the rock, and then change the form and size a bit, repeating this a few times. With another curve, I'll create a different kind of plant and repeat the process till satisfied with the overall form. Then I'll duplicate them and place them all around the rock. I'll sculpt some of the starfish I placed earlier to follow the shape of the rock and then apply different colors to them. I'll finish pimping my rock with another kind of plant here using a curve, placing the points, twisting them, and finally duplicating it a few times to spread it around. Stage 8 is making the character 155% cooler. I'll duplicate a hair strand here and use it to replace the fin that I modeled earlier. I'll place the points to follow the form of the fin, duplicate it, and repeat the process till I fill the entire shape. I'll improve this part as well, moving the vertices to better interact with its surroundings. I'll model another strap to hold her bra together, to hold her impenetrable armor together. I'll then give the body a final sculpt, improving the volume and form, sculpting details, refining different areas, and improving the overall anatomy. To finish stage 8, I'll start adding smaller hair strands all over Little Mermaid here. It will make her hair much cooler, dare I say, 155% cooler. I'll quickly change the viewport material here, this way you'll get to see more vibrant colors on the screen. I'll finish up the hair and call stage 8 done. Nice. Stage 9 is having a makeup degree. I'll unwrap her face, eyes, and body with the automatic UV mapping so that I can texture her. I'll start by giving her lips a reddish color, then mix in her skin's color with the edge of her lips for a nice transition. I'll paint in some different skin tones on her face, some less saturated brighter colors, then some reds and blues. I'll add a reddish color to the corner of her eyes, then I'll paint in her iris with different shades of blues and greens. I'll jump to her body and paint in the different skin tones I used for the face, some desaturated colors, reds, and blues. I'll then finish off stage 9 by adding some greener shades to the iris. Stage 10 is all about making her 178% coolness. I'll go to the Eevee render engine, add in some lights, add some texture to her tail, and call her done. Nice. Look at stage 1. And now look at stage 10. Told ya, the creepier, the better. Either way, now she officially has 178.5% coolness. Okay, cool. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell to be the first to watch my future videos. And with that said, I'll see you in the next video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more awesome character sculpts and art related videos. You can also check out my store for full courses on character sculpting, texturing, materials, brushes and more. Last but not least, if you enjoyed this video, then you will definitely enjoy the next one.